Wow, what a glorious sight to wake up to. I feel pretty fortunate to have been here this morning. Only happens once a year. This is the first morning that the bay is all open water. For the last 3 days, we've had temperatures over 80 degrees Fahrenheit, and we're expecting the same today. 2 mornings ago, the ice sheet was about 20-30 feet off the shore. By yesterday afternoon, it had retreated about halfway through the bay, and this morning I've woken up. I can see it in the distance. It's retreated all the way to the main lake. This is the first morning the bay is all open water. Well, good morning, my friends, and welcome back to GP Outdoors. Today marks the first in a series of videos throughout the rest of the season. As you know, my neighbor Guy is a bit of an enthusiast. He has a 100-yard target range on his property, but for a lot of years he's wanted a much longer range. And this morning, we're going to start the work on that. I anticipate it's probably going to take most, if not all, of the season to complete, or at least to get roughed in. I can't give you a firm timeline because I've never done it before, but it's going to be a long range, and he's pretty excited. This morning, my job is to bring some marker paint. Guy has done a lot of preliminary work on it through the forest as to where he wants to situate it, and today our primary goal is to find the center line between A and B and start marking trees. Guy's already done the first step of the preliminary work. He's already pulled out his municipal surveys, municipal land maps, and he's charted out several different safe places on his property that he can place this range. He's chosen one, he's roughed it in, and today we want to make it solid. We need to mark our path through the trees, up and over through the forest and the hills, which you'll see today. And then from there, we'll begin clearing our path. So you folks that have been with us a few years, you'll know that this is Guy's existing range. It's 100 yards. And you'll know over the last couple of years, we've done a lot of work to this range, including clearing the meadow out to the side here. There were a few stumps in the way over the years. We've removed the stumps, we graded it, and then Husky Bob came in and planted ryegrass, I think a blend of rye and other. And so it's got a nice, beautiful look in the summer, as you may remember. Guy's now looking at making, I think, up to 400 yards. And he's done basically some rough directionals, and I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it, but being that this is kind of the start of the range, or where he sits, you may be able to see there are blue ribbons on some trees heading that way. So today, we're going to head off into about the middle of where this range goes through the forest. Luckily, his wife has a lot of potting soil and triple mix here, because that's a nice bright yellow to see in the sunshine when we're looking from the forest back. And then we're going to head off on our ATVs, get down into the middle. Guy's going to set up some strange apparatus, which kind of confused me. I thought he had lasers. We'll find out. And then we're going to take it all the way back through to the end. And I think if there's any time to find that center line and start marking our path through the forest, it's right now, before the forest explodes and blooms. Because it's a lot easier seeing through deadwood or trees with no leaves on it and there's no canopy than it will be in another couple of weeks. As you folks know up here, it happens almost overnight. And let's not forget the black flies. They'll be coming in a couple of weeks at the latest. With this warm weather, I wouldn't be surprised if they emerge early. Okay, so where are all the laser beams and GPS equipment?
Oh, we're going to do it the old way.
Figures.
Actually, I was watching a YouTube channel, and it was about the Romans.
Oh, yeah.
And how they used to fire a road through Great Britain in a straight line.
Yeah.
And they used basically a tripod with a long stick across the top and 2 pointers.
Okay.
And they'd set up the tripod, aim that one, and then once they know there, they'd walk around the other side and look the other way, and it gives you a straight line. So all we have to do is set this up between the target down there,
Yeah.
and when we can see the house back here,
Okay.
line it up, and then we can walk that line.
Are we walking the line, or?
Well,
I guess I lost the flip on that.
What's
coin.
this we?
Well, folks, I'm not sure if you can see it, but right very far off in the distance, a couple 100 yards down, you should be able to see that big red blanket that guy hung up there. That's going to be where the backstop is. That's kind of the end of the range. Hopefully you can see it. And then what's nice, as I mentioned, is we've got that big bag of yellow soil, which is nice and bright to try to see through the other side. Hopefully you'll catch a view of it soon. And you can see there's a couple of trees that have black ribbons around them, or excuse me, blue ribbons around them. Hey, only one coffee today. All right. Good thing I brought my walking shoes today.
Right there. I think we're very close.
Yeah, I can see it. It's faint. Guy, how far are you estimating this might be, this range?
I'm hoping it's 350 to 400 meters. I'm hoping.
Great.
But we won't know until we get all of this out of here, and then I can put the rangefinder down and do a target.
So you said the Romans used to use this?
Apparently they had a tripod set up like that.
Yeah.
And then we where did it go? Oh, there it is.
Yeah. You can see the
It's
yellow.
so easy to. Oh, up a little higher.
So that's just 2 nails, one on either end of that plank or that board?
Yeah. And I just line them up like sights.
Mm-hmm. Hey, don't say the G word.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll just say sights.
So there's a few trees in the way, but that's pretty much lined up on the house. If you want to have a look there.
Sure. I'll see if people can see this. So you just look down, line up both nails. Oh yeah, yeah, I can see it. I'm not sure if folks are going to be able to see it or not, but you line up both of your nails. Yeah, she's pointing right at the yellow and the big white door.
Now I'm hoping that when I do this, nope, I'm off.
You're off?
Quite a bit. So it's got to move up here a little further.
Gotcha. Okay. I think this would have been a lot more exciting with lasers.
I think they call it laser tag, don't they?
I know. Good thing we didn't wait till the forest filled into the canopy. Wouldn't be able to see a thing. Here's the end point. This whole forest smells like onions right now because we've got wild scallions growing everywhere. Hopefully you can see them there, everywhere. And they're just going to flourish over the coming weeks. And there are some days in the heat where it's such a strong smell, but it's a nice smell. Many of you folks are wondering, why don't we just don't stand by the end of the range here, by the red sheet, and then just find our sight line back to the beginning of the range by the greenhouse. The reason why is you could probably see in the camera is we can't see it. There's just too much in the way, and it's quite a fair distance off. Guy's going to grab some binoculars. We need to make sure that we line this up before we finalize marking our trees. And what we have learned today is that rough-in that we did with all these blue little ribbons around the trees that we walked it before, we were way off. By the time we got between them, they're sort of in the ballpark, but when you start to line of sight it or find a center line, we are constantly way off our end target. Definitely proven that we needed that little tripod and the stick with the 2 nails because it's coming in handy, and it's taking a lot longer than I anticipated to find that center line from the end of the target several hundred yards back to the greenhouse. There's no line of sight visually. So hey, that was a hell of a learning experience. Just a quick summary. We've been at it for almost an hour and a half. We'd originally walked through here just kind of sight between 2 bodies, dropping these blue ribbons in what we thought was a direct line from the start to the finish of the range. We were way off. This little contraption is a must-have. I think it's about a 2-foot piece of wood. Is that right, Guy? Yep. And it's just 2 nails. And you keep lining up and keep lining up. Also very difficult because you've got so many trees in the way, trying to make sure that you're lined up direct. I'd show you a line of sight with the camera, but you're not going to be able to see it. I'll give it a shot here above. But either way, we finally got a dead center line. Is that what you call it, Guy?
Yep.
Between the start and the finish of the range. We also realized while we were sighting this out that in fact the undulations in the forest, there was one hill or one slope that was right in the way. So we had to make adjustments for the end of the range to make sure we had line of sight, and we do now. Okay, so step one finally complete. Is it time for lunch?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Coffee anyway.
Geez, I thought I was I'm pretty sure that when we were walking this before putting the ribbons, it was you that kept going off. Like I was perfectly straight. But that...
I was hanging a curve to the right every time, apparently.
Yeah, apparently so.
It amazes me that, because we'd stand there and, oh yeah, that's directly in line.
Yeah.
And it was so far out. Well, I guess 20, 25 feet.
Yeah. No, but we got her. So what's our next step, my friend?
Well, I get to sit up here and sight.
Are we flipping a coin for who's walking? Yeah. All right.
Ankles.
Alrighty. So we've got this device. Is there a name for that device? Do you know? Or
I don't know what it was called. I just saw the theory and I thought, hey, that's going to work.
yeah, and it did. So we'll start from here, which we're roughly about halfway between the end and the start. So we're going to walk from here one way.
Yep.
Mark the trees.
Mark the trees that are interfering with our line of sight.
Okay.
Go one way and then we'll
Come back and
not move it and do exactly the opposite going the
all
other
the way through. So I hope I brought my hiking boots.
Hope you
It's
brought
kinda
your
hilly.
Hope you brought your chainsaw.
Okay. So it looks like I lost the coin toss. But hey, I need the exercise. So the plan here is we're not going to start marking trees out 10 or 20 feet in width. What we want to do is, according to Guy, is he just wants one thin strip marked, which is basically the line of sight. Once those trees are down, he'll be able to sight it in, confirm it, and then determine from there any corrections that need to be made as we widen out the range. Did I get that right? All right. Yellow or green?
Oh, let's go for yellow.
I think yellow's a little brighter. All righty.
When the leaves come out, we'll never see the green.
Let's roll. Yeah. So I am heading this way. Just don't want to get any on my camera lens.
No, that's okay.
That guy's okay? All right. Yeah. Still doing good? Pardon me?
The big one there is okay.
Okay. Alrighty. I'm already bending my tip off. Down. Yep. Got it. What's that? It is? Okay. I have a feeling that grapple's going to get a lot of work this year. Yeah? Yep. Okay. No? Okay. Straight? Okay. What's that? It is? Okay. All right, going north, young man?
Straight.
Straight this way. Okay. So first one is this big guy right in front. Should I take care of this guy? Okay, what about this one to the left? Okay. folks remember that I told you this summer I wanted to get a lot more experience falling trees and trying to practice and get more experience on the different types of cuts. I think I'm gonna get it. Big guy right here to the left. This guy here, okay. Okay. It is, okay. Okay. Let's head back. So that's a wrap for this first part. I want to take a minute and probably address some questions that you folks are going to have, because I always get them when we're out in the forest and we're falling trees for firewood. As always, none of the wood that we cut or we drop is going to go to waste. What we have here is a plan where, depending on the size of the wood or the diameter of the trees, some will be marked for Guy's portable mill to make lumber or to make cants for the backstop on this range. And some of these logs are going to be cut up for firewood. And of course, all of the branches will eventually be in piles, and then we'll end up chipping them. And they'll either make for bedding for the trails or a whole lot of happy neighbors down the road who want that type of stuff for their gardens. So hey, time to head back. It was only about half a day, but I'm okay with that. It's getting stifling hot out here. Thanks a lot for sticking around with us today. Had a lot of fun, and once again, as always, I learned something. You're not just a pretty face, eh, Guy?
Well, I don't know.
All right, I'll follow you out, my friend.
Sounds good.
Thanks so much for sticking around today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope a lot of you are going to enjoy the series throughout the coming season. I know from past comments that there are a lot of folks that have the same interests as my neighbor Guy as it pertains to that target range. So I hope it's going to be of enjoyment or entertainment for you all, and hopefully a little informative. Have a great week with your families. Please be kind to each other, and I'll see you again on the next part. I'm Gord Potter, and you've been watching GP Outdoors. Cheers.